everybody. It's John Ross with our first show of 2026, January 5 here, Monday. And it's 40 degrees out. It's a little warmer than when we ended the year there. On the 22nd, our last show was 17. Now it's 40. Whew. I think we're going to have some mild weather here in the next day. So, excuse me there. So that's pretty interesting that we have that high temperature. I would say, well, high, but it's above average. And of course, the average time for the peak snow time is coming in the 20th or 23rd or something of January. So it's coming up, our peak snow times. So we'll see what happens here. Today we're going to remember that we have no kings. I'll say that I was involved in some of those marches about no kings, and my theme on that is that there's no king, and because of my Christian faith, but Jesus. So that's my point of view on that. And the current situation in our country reminds me of that somewhat, about a king and how kings can do things that are not good or that we just don't believe they would do. There was a baby born in Bethlehem some 2,000 years ago, and the king of that area, Herod, didn't like that. And he tried to kill Jesus, and he killed other babies. Some say up to 2,000, I don't know, but it was a good number of babies that he killed because he was scared of a baby Jesus. Now, that is a very interesting. I know some people get scared of political opponents and try to do things with them. And we don't want that. We don't want retribution. We want to act in a better way. And the democratic system, when it's in good condition, is a better way. No kings. I'm going to just highlight that Matthew section. It's from Matthew 2. Now, the interesting thing about Matthew 2 is that this Magi and the killing of the babies is not included in Luke. So I was thinking on that, maybe it depends on the audience and who Matthew was talking to. And maybe he wasn't worried about the government as much. Maybe Luke was more worried about that. I don't know. But if you put out about your leadership killing babies, that doesn't look too good. Would you say? I don't think it looks good at all. I can say bombing boats can be maybe that way, with just people in them and don't know who they are, just bombing. Or shooting at people or dragging them away because you say that they are here illegally. Magi and killing babies. I'm going to give you a little on this. Because of that threat of killing babies, an angel of the Lord came to Joseph, the father, not the actual father. The Holy Spirit, we believe, is the actual father of Jesus. But after they left, the angel of the Lord appeared in a dream to Joseph and said, Herod will be looking for the child in order to kill him. So get up, take the child and his mother, and escape to Egypt and stay there until I tell you to leave. So they got a warning. Then when Herod realized that he got tricked by the Magi, who he said he wanted to go and worship this child, Herod realized that the visitors from the east had tricked him. He was furious and gave orders to kill all boys in Bethlehem and its neighborhood who were 2 years old and younger. This was done in accordance with what he learned from the visitors at the time the star appeared, about the time the star appeared. So a dictator, a leader, will do a lot of bad stuff. So we don't need kings. We need only one king. We don't need retribution. We don't need enemies that way. But are we threatened by Jesus? Well, that's a good question. Some areas of the world, the government does feel threatened by Christians. In America, I don't know yet. Are Christians standing up for truth? That's what we have to be, truth bearers. I don't know. But I know one thing we should be doing, and I want you to think on right now, is beyond this season right now, what I'm talking about here, we got to still act in a good way. And that is help those who are hurting. And I want you to help our food pantries. I mentioned them before. I don't know if I'll put them on the screen right now. The Salvation Army, the Roy Area Interfaith Food Pantry, the Marie Wilkinson Pantry, the Batavia Food Pantry, and the Northern Illinois Food Bank. That's the ones I'm mentioning. There's a lot more out there. You can help your food pantries wherever you are at and help with food insecurity, because there's going to be a cutting of SNAP benefits and other things that are going to affect a lot of people. And healthcare premiums are going up. So that's things out there that we should remember. We should remember to help out others. And that's what we got to do. We got to be other orientated. And I don't always practice that. We got to think about others. Well, on Wednesday, that's coming up, we're going to have a special guest we've had before the end of the year, a couple of years here when we've done these podcasts. Reverend Hasham Shabab of Salam Christian Fellowship of Lombard is going to join us. He's going to give us a little perspective on his thoughts on what's happening in the world in the Middle East. He's from Lebanon, and maybe that country is more stabilizing. That's good. The Pope visited that. That was a good sign. And he's a follower of Jesus. He was maybe we call him a terrorist, or he was a young radical that found Jesus in Lebanon, basically through the reading of the Beatitudes, or the Sermon on the Mount, I should say, and other Christian witness from others that were in the Middle East. So he's been in the States, I don't know how long, but it's been a little while. And he works with those immigrants that are coming to our country from the Middle East, Syria, Iraq, Lebanon, I don't know, Egypt, and even North Africa. So he works with a lot of different people, and he's a very interesting man. Like I said, he's found Jesus after an early background in Islam, and so he'll be with us on Wednesday, Reverend Hisham. So I just thank you for listening to me, and just remember, there's no king but Jesus. And so thank you for listening to my time together here today, and we appreciate you. And come back on Wednesday with Reverend Hisham. And again, remember to do helps for others. So we'll talk again. God bless you all. Thank you for listening to this time together. Bye-bye now, and we'll see you then on Wednesday. Bye-bye now.